Hello friends and welcome back to your free sales training program. लास्ट 2 सेशंस में हमने सीखा कि पहले सेशन में हमने सीखा कि हंटर और फार्मर के बीच का क्या डिफरेंस है, कॉन्ट्रैक्टिंग कैसे करते हैं एंड सो फोर्थ। उसके बाद वाले सेशन में हमने देखा कि भाई टूल्स क्या क्या होते हैं हमारे पास, और उसमें सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट टूल जो है वो फॉलो अप है, और उसको हम कैसे यूटिलाइज कर सकते हैं अपने बेनिफिट के लिए, या वो कैसे मिस यूटिलाइज हो सकता है एट द सेम टाइम टू बैकफायर ऑन अस। इस सेशन में हम जानेंगे एक खास टूल के बारे में, वो है ईमेल मार्केटिंग। हम लोगों ने सबने सुना होगा, जो भी सेल्स करते हैं आपके हमारे जैसे लोग, ईमेल इज बिकम अ फिनोमेना। वी ऑल यूज ईमेल्स इनवेरिएबली multiple times to reach out to our customers. We use mass email marketing. We also use our own email channels to reach out to our customers. But today, in today's session, you will learn something which is very unique and different. And this is coming by the virtue of somebody who has experienced that email as a tool for over 20 to 23 years. Okay, तो ये मेरी जो जर्नी है, ये 2002 में मैंने शायद पहला ईमेल अपना बनाया था, 2001 में, इफ आई रिमेम्बर इट राइट, इट वाज अ याहू मेल. ओके, एंड आफ्टर दैट इट स्टार्टेड ओनली इट वेंट ओनली अहेड, आई थिंक अगेन, यस, that was the period. So I have learned over the period of time how to utilize the email better and better. So watch this session properly until the end so that you learn how efficiently you can use email as a tool and you can put it in your arsenal. So I'll prepare you, don't worry. अगर मैंने आपका हाथ पकड़ा है तो I will not leave your hand just like that. मैंने पहले भी बोला है. So I will continue to make you more efficient with each of these tools one after another. Okay, so इस वीडियो में आप गौर से सुनिए कि हम how do we utilize email as a tool and how do we make best use of it. So again, coming back to the email, so there is one typical mindset that we will use mass email to reach out to our customer. We populate, let's say, thousands of emails and we get some or the other response, which we treat as a lead, and then we start following up on it. So maybe yes, that's an effective way of doing it. I don't say that's a wrong way or whatever, but that can support you only up to certain extent. वो आपको एक certain level तक के लिए ही सही है, और certain type of business के लिए सही है. So you look, email as a tool may be used differently for different kinds of businesses. So today we will focus on the B2B kind of a business, where how we utilize the tool more efficiently. So email, when you send an email, it is very important to capture a few things which people generally ignore. First of all, the most important thing in an email is its subject line. How do you write a subject line which compels the person to open that email? Okay, I'll tell you. So we'll talk about each item within this category. Okay, so पहला है subject line. So subject line, when you write, it has to be very short. Typically, what I do is I start with a lowercase of alphabet. So I typically do not write a larger case to start my subject line. I write a lower case. उस कंडीशन में मैंने देखा है ईमेल का ओपन रेट काफी बेटर होता है. So that is first thing. And then I try to keep it very short. So if I have to request for a meeting, then I will not say that requesting a meeting for December 23rd on XYZ. I'll not write like that. So I'll make it very short. I'll say request for catch up. So this becomes my subject line, and I tend to see that many people, it has got a very good open rate. Then coming to the subject line, then coming to the body of the email. So in the body of the email, I typically start with hi. So I start with hi so and so, hi Gyanesh. And then rather than, adding so much of a clutter to that email, it can become as large as possible. You can write as many things as possible. But typically I try to, if it is a first email per se, so I try to give a very, very brief introduction of my company, which gets covered in maybe less than a line. And excuse me, and I tend to keep my introduction attached to that in the same line. So I will say, this is Gyanesh from so and so company, and my company is so and so, with a net revenue or a gross revenue of this, operating in this domain. That is one liner that I'll write. And then I'll come straight to the point. Okay. Straight to the point means you're not a marketing guy, remember. Always keep this in your mind. You are a salesperson, and you need to, why are you doing this exercise? You need a lead to qualify, or you need that person to respond to you. So it is not a visibility exercise that you are doing, that boss itna email to bhej diya, chalo kam se kam itne logon ko meri company ka pata chal gaya. No boss, that is not the right approach. You need to be very, very focused on your approach. So your approach and your objective, those two things has to be very clear. So here your objective is to get a response back, and your approach is to generate a lead. So what you will do is, you will be very precise and direct in writing, telling him or her that, look, why are you reaching out? So the next line should start that I am reaching out to you because, and then you write the reason. Okay. And then try to finish it again in one quarter line. After that, you need to have a response request. So then you say, can we meet? And then you put the date, particular date. So let's say how I write it. So I'll say, can we meet in the week of, let's say 20th December. That's something that I'll write. Then I'll put a full stop. Then I'll write, does 10 a.m. 22nd December works for you? Put a question mark. Then I'll say, if not, then please let me know an alternate time slot so that I can block your calendar accordingly. Regards, Gyanesh. So this becomes very, very specific and, focused kind of and personalized email as well. One more thing, many people does that mistake in sales. You should never do that. I think don't overdo your signature. So signature also forms to be very, very important part of your email. So when you are reaching out to somebody, especially when you are reaching out, I mean, informal communication, just like that is all fine. But when you are triggering somebody to respond to your email, just be very specific. You have already made your introduction in the body of the email when you started it. Now you just need to be very, very classy in your signature. Just write regards or REGS. What I do personally is, what I write is REGS dot comma Gyanesh. That's it. Nothing more. So this generally gives a good impression on others. So this is about crafting your email at the first place. Then we will talk about, when do we shoot this email? So there is a time when you get best response. So imagine you get n number of letters. Okay. Imagine somebody dropped a letter last night to you. Okay. And imagine somebody dropped a letter just now. When you are just about to open the letters, whose letter would you open first? And whom would you want to respond first? Of course, goes without saying, somebody who has just sent you that letter, irrespective of the seriousness of the letter for many, many times, So my view is, if you hit the email on the right time, you have the maximum possibility of getting a response. And what is that right time? The right time is when a person, you can imagine, is not either off the system, or when the person is not overly busy, both. Yeah. So you need to find that sweet spot between the two. So what you can do is, let's say if you're dropping an email, let's say around 11:50 or 12ish in the afternoon. I think that is a good time, generally. I see a lot of email marketers, they send email in the first slot, but let me tell you, if you are sending the email for the first time, it's very likely that your emails will go down and people will not respond. Why? Because at the first place, they realize that this email is a sales email or this is a reach out email. I will take my own time to respond, or I will respond at my own ease, Right now, it's not my ease. And right now, that's not my preference as well. My preference is to attend to all other important emails which has arrived. So I will attend to those emails right now. So that ease time is again when I get comfortable after resolving or responding to the previous emails. So that time is around, let's say 12:30ish. Now that goes up to the lunch hour, But beyond lunch hour, what happens? It will completely be dropped. I'm telling you, the response rate becomes very, very bad after that. So what you do is, then the next slot opens from 4 o'clock, or let's say slightly down 3:30, जहां से आप वापस से शुरू कर सकते हैं कि चलो अब 3:30 plus हो गया है, then we start sending out the email again, and don't go beyond 5ish is what I will say. 5 बजे के बाद कोई ईमेल पत्राचार नहीं होना चाहिए. I typically do not do that. I just stop any fresh email sending out beyond typically 4:30, 45 types. So and I've literally seen a greater response when I send emails in these slots. So remember this: do not send email in the very first fresh in the morning, because if you are doing this for a first time reach out, most likely your email will go unanswered. Second, try to do this after, let's say, slightly down 11:30, and then stop it by 1 positively. 1 is also slightly late. Stop it by 12:45. Open it up by 3:30 or 3, slightly down 3, and then close it before 5. So this is another thing. Then I think if you are doing these two things efficiently, your email open rates are going to definitely go up. So remember this, try this at your place. Let me know what your experiences are, and we will talk and debate more on this in our next session. So thank you.